So we're going to go through a role play, and we'll just see how we do. And we can tag team back and forth if you want, but I'll be the client. I'm just going to throw in a couple of objections at you and see what you guys say. Okay, so you know, I come through the door, and it's like, "Hi, how are you?" And I go, "Great, I'm just here to take a look around." Then what?
Sure, let me show you some of our best features.
So time out. We got to ask that question. What brings you through the door?
Oh, what brings you to the open house?
Yeah, well, you know, I was driving around, and my mother lives here, you know, close by,
Right.
and I thought I'd come by and take a look, and you know, kind of interested.
Right. So you know anything about the neighborhood?
Oh, lots, yeah, lots about the neighborhood. My mom loves it here, and you know, she's getting older. Want to help her out. Want to be around a little bit closer.
Right.
I live a little ways away, but we've been thinking about relocating.
Oh, is your mom looking this up?
Nope, mom's gonna be fine, but she doesn't want to leave her home. But you know, we'll probably have to get closer because I can't be on call,
Right.
coming back and forth, and my wife and I can't just come back and forth all the time because it's tough.
Oh,
How long have you been working?
how long is your commute?
The commute's over half an hour, so that's too long because if mom has a fall or something, I want to be closer.
Right. How
Yeah.
long have you been looking?
Looking, I wouldn't call me a looker yet. I think I'm at that considering the idea,
Okay.
right? And how feasible it is. We're renting right now, you know, and we've been talking about buying, but you know, it's this stuff, right?
Right.
New development that's taking place. So
Right. Is
Oh.
go ahead.
I'd be more than happy to try and help you out in that process.
yeah, okay.
It's just
So see, at this point, what you want to do is you want to say, great. So I'll tell you what. Why don't we just keep talking this through, as you know, and the time out, and let's take a look and see what's going here, and then we can talk a little bit more.
right.
And then you show the home, and we're at the end where, okay, I've looked at the home now. I've got the sheet in my hand, and what do you say?
Is this something that you're looking for? Is this home something that you're looking for?
Actually, that's a yes or no. So this is not the time to ask a yes or no.
Okay.
So this is a game that you two can play back and forth.
Okay.
Open-ended questions are hard. And I know because I practice them myself. But asking open-ended questions, until the only time you ask closed-end questions is when you know what you want for the answer.
Can you ask, like, what did you like the most?
Yes, open-ended because I can't answer that yes or no.
Right.
Yeah, what would you like to have in this house if you could? If you could grab it and take it with you to your perfect home. Oh, wow, you know, the kitchen's pretty cool. And I like the backyard. Yeah, backyard's good. You know, big old tree out there that I could stick a hammock on and enjoy, right? Well, a hammock and if I get a tree and a fence, I'm cool. I'll put up a pole, you know, underneath the tree. We're cool, right? So again, it's the open-ended questions that you're asking. You're trying to find out more and more and more and more and more.
Better before the open-ended question.
Well, exactly. So this is how you guide it from just idle chit-chat to being part of the sales process. So how do you switch now to get them into the sales process? How do you go from kind of getting curious to taking the next step? How do you do that?
God, things really far away from buying process.
Yeah.
But do you ask me if you have any questions?
Yeah, well, I don't have any really questions. I'm just kind of looking today. I'm just, you know, you've heard all this before, right? Yeah, I'm just kind of looking today. I'm not really sure if, you know, what we're thinking or, and I'd have to talk to my girlfriend, of course, and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I don't know. There's lots to think about in this process.
How about let me show you what's for sale, what's available in this neighborhood?
You'll lose him.
Yeah.
Bingo, because he's not ready yet. So this is a great thing to learn. This is a thing to learn. If you get a client that you know you can really tell that are not sure what to do next,
Right.
you start talking about stuff,
Right.
and what you're doing is we call it a feature dump. You're dumping all your stuff on him.
Okay.
Okay, it doesn't work. What you want to do is you want to look at him and you want to find out where he is in motivation. So you say, hey Jerry,
I wanted to ask him if he was approved.
he's not even there yet. He's already told you he's not there yet, right? He's like right at the start.
Okay.
And you go, Jerry, I can appreciate this must be a really kind of difficult, you know, kind of thought for you.
Right.
And, you know, it sounds like you got to kind of process it. And you know what? They're very normal.
Okay.
So you normalize the process that he's in. He's in a buying process. And you say, you know what? It's really tough to decide what's best for you when you're in the moment of going through this. I help a lot of people with that because sometimes, you know, it's a third-party person, you know, going through the process. I can stand outside and say things and see things differently than you can and make things a lot more clear.
Right.
So, you know, here's the thing that I could offer to you. Notice the words I'm using.
Here's the thing that I can offer. Okay.
here's what I can offer to you, and no commitment necessary, but I highly recommend that, you know, we sit down over a cup of coffee, get to know each other a little bit better, and then we can talk this out a little bit better, and so you can become a little bit clear about what your next step is,
Right.
right? Because it sounds like you need to have some information, and you need to sort through a few things, and then kind of work on it a little bit, maybe have me back a little bit, ask some questions, and, you know, kind of get that kind of thing going. Oh yeah, well that might not be a bad idea, because it's really hard for me to kind of bring it up with my girlfriend, because I don't, you know, she's kind of like excited about it, but doesn't know what it means to be living next door to mom kind of thing, and she's not sure how that's going to work, and, you know, she likes our area, but, you know, that kind of stuff too, and it's going to be, you know, and he's going to tell you all the stuff, right? And so he's at stuff stage. You move too forward ahead, you're not pushing. If he's at stuff, you got to help him sort through the information. When he's done the information, then you can nudge him to the next level.
But he's not a write-off.
Not at all, because that, like we said, can change in a night or two.
Right.
Bang, they're ready, they're looking at homes and they're ready to buy in 2 months.
Yep.
He'd be going faster than you think. And who cares if he comes in 6 months from now and he buys? Or next year at this time, he's a free buyer.
Right.
It's free money. You're going to do the work. Okay? So don't push. Pushing will not work. And it feels pushy if you start talking about stuff when I want to talk about, you know, where I'm at.
Right.
I'm emotionally here. Don't talk to me about houses yet. I got to get through this before I get there.
Right.
Right? Don't talk to me about, you know, patio doors and all the rest of that stuff. I'm just trying to explore what I'm feeling here about doing this. Okay? So that's the whole process about what we have to do. So another thing that you can ask in that moment when you're not really sure where they're at is you can say to them, bless you, you can say to them, hey, where do you see yourself right now in the buying process? It's a very direct question, and notice the tonality. Hey, where do you see yourself in the buying process?
It's not like where do you see yourself in 5 years in a job interview?
Right.
No.
Crap out of you.
No, where do you see yourself in the buying process right now? Because I'm just trying to understand, where do you see yourself in the buying process? Well, I'm at the stage now where I think I've got enough information to take the next step. And you might go, I don't think you do. And that's okay, but at least it tells you that they're ready to move forward.
Right.
They may be an uneducated move forward, and you would want to protect them so they don't get themselves in a jackpot. But they're telling you, if they say, well, you know, I don't know, I don't think I have enough information.
I don't have enough down payment.
I don't know what I need to do. I don't even know what my options are. I'm confused. I've had people ask me this as a buyer, when I'm a buyer about certain things, and I'll say, you know what, I'm confused. I'm confused. I need clarity on this or that. Or you might say to them, it sounds like you need clarity on this. Sounds like you need to make some decisions. Is that what I'm hearing? Yeah. I really got to decide if we're going to just keep with our own comfort and I'll drive back and forth, or whether we're going to get closer so it's not such a hectic thing in the middle of the night kind of thing. Yeah, totally appreciate where you're coming from. So that's a big decision, right? Yeah, it totally is. So I don't know how we go and figure that out. I go, well, you know, I have a process that I take people through that can help them make that decision, or those types of decisions that are tough. So at least you're getting it at a level that you can use that material and bank on it, if you will, about moving forward. So let me suggest something to you. And they're going to go, oh, sure, what? Well, let's get together for a cup of coffee. We'll talk about that issue and anything else that you've got on your mind. Right? I know you're not I don't get the feeling you're at the buy stage yet, and I wouldn't encourage you to buy right now because you're not there. But you do need some help here and a little bit of information probably, so that you can see what's next for you at some level, because you guys will probably buy a house sometime in your life.
Like, let's get together and start, like, you wouldn't want to call it like the education process, because that implies that they don't know what to do.
No, I would just suggest that we get together and we talk about what they want to talk about. You may call it something in here.
Relationship.
It might be, I wouldn't even start the relationship. Some guys are going to be weirded out about that. Why don't we get together, have a cup of coffee, get to know each other better, right? And then we, because we use all our talk, our lingo, right? We got to stop that. We got to start being human, right? Let's get together, have a cup of coffee. I'll answer your questions. I'm trying to help you with what you're thinking. That's exactly what they need to hear. Now you're real, you're personable, and you know your stuff. And you can use the old, well, I help people with that kind of, that sort of thing. That's what I do. And then you can just sit there and listen to them as they talk to you, and then say, well, here's where we go. And when they're in that emotional thing, you can do that what we call projection, that forward projection, and say, well, let me just ask a couple questions, and maybe this will help out the two of you sort this all out if you're sitting at their table. And you could say, you know what, imagine this, Mom has a fall, and she tries to phone you, but she can't, and you find her the next day.
Say that again, please.
And you find her
Uh-huh.
on the floor the next day,
Uh-huh.
right? You get her to the hospital, and that's all you say. And they're going to go, oh, that would be awful. Right. Well, that would be really awful. And you go, yeah, but you know, that's exactly why you're thinking about moving closer, right? Because even if you had the perfect home in your current area and loved it to death, that would not make you feel good, would it? So your biggest fear, concern / motivation factor is that exact scenario. Now, here's the question, just to be fair to you, what could you do to make sure that never ever happens outside of moving right, close to mom? Yeah, what's the real thing here that could happen? Well, we could get her one of those Medi alerts. We could do this, we could do that, and whatever. So you look at options for them, and you help them through the process, and they just kind of look at it. And at some level, they kind of go, they wake up the next morning, they go, nope, this is exactly what we need to do, and life is good. And you go. But the key here that we want to bring out of this whole role play is that if you try and talk to them about moving to the next level in the real estate buying process, and they're not ready to, they will resist you. And so often at an open house, we want to talk about homes. Houses. And that's not the point. The point is